Now, racial activists love to opine, don't they, about the legacy of George Floyd. And sure, while there may be more attention now paid to training police officers and weeding out problem recruits, there's also a dangerous boomerang effect that's terrorizing American cities and businesses: more crime. The mob of at least 1,000 kids and teenagers that swarmed New York City's Union Square on Friday is a case in point. Now, a PlayStation giveaway that was, people gathered for this quickly turned into a violent free-for-all where police were attacked with bottles, rocks, and fireworks.
Voluntarily, no charges will be placed against you. If you refuse to leave, you will be arrested for unlawful assembly.
Now, since the summer of 2020, it's basically been a nonstop blur of violent crime committed by unrepentant thugs. From people who knock over convenience stores and department stores with brazen arrogance to beating defenseless women and seniors, and sometimes even in broad daylight. The perpetrators almost seem to act as if they're justified, don't they? After all, in our everyone's a victim culture, you can right past wrongs by chucking a full water bottle now at law enforcement. Because even if they're not obviously racist police officers, they're part of a racist organization. Now, that's the flavor of the post-Floyd propaganda that we've seen saturate social media and even at times make its way into school curricula. And even in the cities plagued by crime, liberal mayors are still unafraid to say it like it is.
Police is not going to be able to resolve these issues on our own. The great level of restraint we saw yesterday by the New York City Police Department, that could have turned really ugly. These are young people. We have to, be mindful of that as we bring back order.
Mayor Adams, this riot didn't turn ugly. It was ugly. And it was ugly because there are rarely repercussions for the oppressed and the misunderstood. In fact, for most, well, crime pays. Now, young people are angry because they're being taught that their anger is righteous, it's justified, and that oftentimes non-minorities just hate them. Remember this scene from a Florida school last fall where one student felt entitled to tackle a police officer who was working on school grounds? Or what happened earlier this year when a teacher had the nerve to take away a student's Nintendo Switch? But of course, celebrities and elites, they're usually unfazed by this behavior because it rarely affects them. So they're shocked when members of their beloved audience end up hurling objects at them while they're on stage. Now, these megastars, some of whom indulge Black Lives Matter and vilified police themselves, help create this madness. Ditto with left-wing politicians and woke corporate CEOs who were too busy virtue signaling on race to think about where all this is going to lead.
Ain't nothing you can do, man, until police come in.
To a world where criminals fear no consequences and where those who stand up to them are most likely to be prosecuted. That's why last week, a deranged felon in California felt totally comfortable targeting a 7-Eleven store. One he's suspected, by the way, of robbing twice before in the same 24-hour period. When two of the workers stepped in to defend themselves in the store, most of America cheered. The video went viral. But in our upside-down post-Floyd world, the store clerks are being investigated. So the left may not have defunded the police, but they helped set a dynamic where suddenly the victims are treated like aggressors and the aggressors as victims. So the message to law-abiding citizens: if you're robbed or you're threatened, stand by placidly. Don't put up a fight, ever. After all, America has a lot to atone for. So just consider it payback. Joining us now is Xaviaer DuRousseau, ex-Black Lives Matter activist and PragerU personality. Xaviaer, this victimhood mentality that we're encouraging and nurturing, where does this all end up? And we're seeing some of it play out on our streets, but what else is coming?
You know, cities like New York City and Chicago have gone completely rogue because there's just such a lack of accountability. There are no consequences. And what we're seeing instead now is there's an entire generation of people who are so used to not being condemned for this bad behavior that they don't even know the skill set of taking accountability. What they learn instead from fraudulent organizations like Black Lives Matter is that you should shift the blame to irrelevant, outdated issues like systemic racism, rather looking yourself in the mirror and recognizing that you need to change. There's a reason that most of the people displaying these violent behaviors are not first-time offenders. If there was nothing to stop them from committing this crime in the first place, then what's going to stop them the 5th, 6th, and 7th time?
Well, I mean, when Mayor Adams says it could have gotten ugly, we were watching the video thinking, what are you talking about? And by the way, Xavier, Chicago, as we've mentioned, is experiencing these teen takeovers as well. And, I mean, that's a nice way of putting it. But here's what Mayor Johnson had to say. Watch this.
Oh, you're not aware of some of these large gatherings?
You're talking about the mob actions?
Well, no, that's not appropriate. We're not talking about mob actions. I didn't say that. But we have to be very careful when we use language to describe certain behavior. I mean, to refer to children as like baby Al Capones is not appropriate.
Not appropriate, Xavier.
It's not appropriate. It's funny they say that this is getting ugly, but to me it looks hideous. In fact, it's honestly embarrassing for humanity to see where we've gone as a society. And what I need parents, especially when you see these young people being destructive, they need to realize it's not law enforcement's job to babysit their kids. But if they continue to just sit back and allow their kids and their community to be so destructive, then eventually the judicial system is going to jump in. And I don't want to hear anybody complaining that they're oppressed because they decided to become a convict at 18 years old.
Xavier, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.